Imagine a message in a bottle, not floating on an ocean of water, but on an ocean of time. This bottle has been drifting for thousands of years. It has survived empires that have turned to dust. It has weathered storms of war and change. And inside this bottle is a book, a very, very old book. What if I told you this single book is responsible for how we think about right and wrong? It has shaped the laws we live by. It has inspired some of the greatest art and music ever created. It is the hidden blueprint for much of our modern world. This isn't a fantasy story. This is the real epic journey of the Bible. It's an ancient collection of stories, poems, and letters that did more than just survive. It changed everything. This book is more than just paper and ink. It is a time capsule of human thought. So who wrote this incredible book? The answer isn't one person. There was no single author sitting under a tree writing from start to finish. The Bible is more like a library. It is a collection of 66 different books. These books were written by more than 40 different authors. These authors lived in different places. They lived at different times, over a period of about 1,500 years. Imagine that. A book project that took 15 centuries to complete. That's like someone starting a book when the Roman Empire was at its peak, and their distant descendants finally finishing it today. A book is just a collection of words until people read it. So how did this library of scrolls, written in ancient Hebrew and Greek, spread across the entire planet? It didn't happen overnight. It was a slow, deliberate process, powered by human conviction. At first, it spread through spoken word. People would gather to hear the scrolls read aloud. Storytellers would memorize the tales and travel from village to village, sharing the epic sagas and profound teachings. This book didn't just tell stories. It introduced radical new ideas that reshaped human thought. Before the Bible became widespread, many cultures believed in a whole pantheon of gods. There were gods of the sun, the sea, the harvest, and war. These gods were often capricious and behaved like superpowered, jealous humans. The Bible introduced a startlingly different concept: monotheism. The idea that there is only one God. This God wasn't just another tribal deity. This God was the creator of the entire cosmos. So, the book was full of big ideas. But how did it actually change the way people lived their day-to-day lives? It was like being given a new recipe for life, a new set of instructions for building a family, a community, and a self. One of the most basic changes was the idea of a weekly day of rest. The concept of the Sabbath, a day set aside for rest and worship, was a radical innovation. In most ancient societies, work was constant. Slaves and laborers toiled from sunup to sundown, 7 days a week. The Bible commanded that everyone, rich and poor, master and slave, even farm animals, must rest on the seventh day. The ideas in this book created ripples that spread through time, changing individual lives in countless ways. Consider the life of a slave in the Roman Empire, like a man named Onesimus mentioned in the Bible. His life was one of toil and hopelessness, owned as property. But through the influence of the Christian message, his master, Philemon, was urged to receive him back no longer as a slave, but as a dear brother. This was revolutionary. Think of the scientists who were inspired by its pages. Many of the founders of modern science, like Isaac Newton. It's not an exaggeration to say that this ancient book is a key architect of the world we live in today. Its influence is like the foundation of a massive skyscraper. It's mostly hidden from view, but without it, the entire structure would collapse. Think about our modern legal systems in the West. The principle of being innocent until proven guilty has deep roots in biblical law, which required multiple witnesses for a conviction. The very idea of a written constitution, a set of supreme laws that even the king must obey, echoes the biblical concept of a covenant, a binding agreement between God and the people that governed everyone. The birth of the modern university is another legacy of this book. The first universities in Europe, like Oxford and the University of Paris, grew out of cathedral schools. Their primary purpose was the study of theology, the study of God based on the Bible. But from this central trunk, other branches of knowledge grew. Consider the very idea of human rights. The the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So we've traveled across thousands of years. We've seen how this ancient book was written, how it spread, and how it changed the world. But what does a book full of deserts and donkeys, kings and prophets have to say to you, a young person living in the 21st century? A world of smartphones, space exploration, and artificial intelligence. Does it still matter? I think it matters more than ever. It's a letter from your distant ancestors, written to you. It's a reminder of where we've come from, and a guide for where we might go. It asks the biggest questions, and exploring them makes your own world bigger. This book teaches you about humanity. The people in its pages are not so different from us. Reading their stories is like looking into a mirror that reflects our own human nature. The Bible is filled with powerful calls for justice, kindness, and peace. It tells you to stand up for the weak, to care for the planet, and to love your neighbor, even when it's hard. They are the essential ingredients for building a better future. In a world that can often feel divided and confusing, this book offers a moral compass. It provides a vision of a world where compassion is stronger than cruelty, and hope is more powerful than despair. It asks you, what part will you play in building that world? And finally, this book is an invitation to wonder. It begins with a story of cosmic creation and ends with a vision of a new heaven and a new earth. It encourages you to look at the universe with awe, to see the beauty in a sunset, the complexity of a single cell, the mystery of human consciousness. It connects the grand scale of the cosmos with the intimate scale of a human heart. It reminds us that in this vast, amazing universe, our lives, our choices, and our stories matter. This ancient book is not just a relic of the past. It is a living conversation, and it is inviting you to join in.